If you've seen any of my videos, you know just how expensive Warhammer can be as a hobby. With even cheap armies costing hundreds of dollars and Games Workshop raising prices again and again, it is a very high barrier to entry for any new players, but also for anyone who wants to expand into playing new and different armies. Luckily for us, there is a $20 solution that will let you play an infinite amount of Warhammer from the comfort of your own home with anyone around the world, and you don't even have to clean off the Cheeto dust from your fingers or put on pants. Today, we're going to be talking all about Tabletop Simulator, the great mod support made by the community, and how to get everything going for your first games of Warhammer. But even if you are a veteran, don't overlook just how valuable this tool is to be able to get that competitive edge. Number one, Tabletop Simulator will let you play every single army in the game with every single model in the game and every single rule in the game. You can easily say goodbye to buyer's remorse, test out armies that you think you might like. If you don't like them, cool, try out a different one. You can try out different models that you might want to run and strategies that you're considering without ever having to purchase a single model. It has a lively community of people out there who are willing to even just run games to help new players learn how 40K works and how to play it. You're able to get in a lot more games much more quickly, as you don't have to worry about things like setting up the tedious terrain, laying out deployment zones, or even trying to track data cards. And if you are very competitively minded, computers are going to be much more precise for measuring distances than a measuring tape and eyeballing it could ever hope to be. This is going to mean that you can much more easily get good practice for things like setting up move blocks, navigating the board for secondary objectives, setting up good charges, and just trying to figure out how much movement you can eke out of every model that you're working with. Finally, this is just the best way to get your friends to try out the game and see how they like it. Even if they are states or countries away, they can play Warhammer with you. So let's talk about the steps that you're going to need to do in order to get all of this up and running. To start with, you're going to need to go onto Steam and you're going to have to look for Tabletop Simulator and go ahead and just find the page. Now, when you get there, it is going to cost you $20 and you're going to be able to get pretty much everything that it has in its base package. This isn't going to be enough to get us fully started, but we'll be able to get all of the mod support that we possibly want later down the line. Once you've got it purchased and downloaded, you need to make sure that you open it at least one time before you go and download the mod support. This is going to open up access to the saved files within Tabletop Simulator, which you will need to have open and running in order to actually get all of the files into the right location. As soon as you got it opened at least one time, you can just shut the whole thing down. Once you have TTS installed and you've opened it at least once, you're going to go to the GitHub link in the description and you're going to go ahead and you're going to look for the download link for the mod support that was made by Malice Red. He is a large part of why this community is able to work in the way that it does. And he's also the one who's primarily in charge of the Discord where you can find most of these games that you might want to look for once you've got everything going. Once you've got it installed, you're going to need to go ahead and extract it, make sure that it goes to the right folder. And then once you've got all of the files extracted, you're going to want to go ahead and save the main files that you see highlighted. You're going to want to make sure that you've got the Warhammer folder and then all of the extra JSON files. You're going to need to make sure that you drop these inside of the correct folder for TTS. And the default location for that is going to be through this PC, My Games, Tabletop Simulator, Saves. Drop all your stuff in there, and then you'll be all set to load up Tabletop Simulator again. Now, all this stuff that you could possibly need to just get it working at a fundamental level is done. But if you want to try and make it even more playable and have an even better experience, then you're going to need to go and install Yellow Scribe. To do this, you're going to need to make sure that Tabletop Simulator is closed. Then you're going to go to your Steam library, go to the Tabletop Simulator page, and click Workshop. On there, you're going to search for Yellow Scribe version 2, and make sure that you get yourself subscribed to it. Make sure that you choose the V2 one, because that is the accurate version that is up to date. From there, we're going to load back up TTS. You can load any table you want. For the example that I'm going to be doing today, we're just going to be making the Tau Combat Patrol. So I'm going to go through Xenos and Tau. And then once we're in that table, we're going to additively load Yellow Scribe from the workshop page. Once it's additively loaded, we're going to jump back out of Tabletop Simulator and go to yellowscribe.xyz and upload your army roster file in wherever you decided to save it from, BattleScribe or any kind of program that you have that can make a .ros file. Once you've got it uploaded, just scroll down to the bottom of the roster page and you're going to click Submit. Back over in TTS, you're going to click on the yellow machine that you added in, and you're going to copy and paste the code that you got from Yellow Scribe. Then all you have to do is select each card that you are going to have for a different model in your army, and then left click the model that is going to represent that unit on the tabletop, which will then turn the card green, and you'll know that you've done it correctly. After all of those are done, you're going to click Create Army, and then it will be able to pop up all of the different models that you've actually brought in. It's going to put them on this nice little board, and you just select all the models on the board, right click, save game object, name it whatever you need to. Once you're feeling ready to actually go and set up your first table, you're going to need to make sure that you have terrain to play with. I recommend that you go back to the TTS workshop and you search for FTC. Then you make sure to download the FTC 10th edition competitive base. This is a good all-purpose table that is going to give you dice, it's going to give you the objectives, it's going to give you everything that you could possibly need, except the terrain itself. From here, we go and we download any maps that we want to play with, or terrain sets if you want to build your own maps. Personally, I recommend the WTC maps that you can find. Once you've got all of that ready to go, from the main menu on TTS, we're going to go to Create and select either single player or multiplayer. To load everything in properly, we need to make sure that from our workshop tab, we open up that FTC competitive base as the first thing. Then we're going to go ahead and select our board size. It's got a few different ones, but we want to go with the 44 by 60 and then confirm it for gaming. Now at the very top of the board, you can choose what mission sets you want to play with. You can select the primary mission, the rules for the board that you want to use, and then go to select deployment zones and find the one that was chosen from you from the cards that you drew out. From here, you can go into Games, Workshop, Additive Load, and choose the map that you want to play with. Once that map is down, you just go to Objects, Saved Objects, and you load the army that you made with Yellow Scribe. After you've got all that done, you just need to deploy your units, and then select who goes first and press Start Game. You've gotten the mod set up, you've installed Yellow Scribe, you've got the map you want to play on, and the board is all set up. Well, once you've got all this going, you just need to make sure that all of your secondaries are in the deck. They're going to start off with some in your hand. It's annoying, just drag and drop and make sure to flip them over. Once all the cards are in, shuffle the deck, and click on the draw button next to the deck to flip them over. And you can use the secondary button under Player B's buttons to show any secondaries that you drew that might be relevant for this turn. These are things like Investigate Signals or Area Denial. While you're hovering over a unit, you can check its abilities or loadout in more detail by hitting numpad 1. If you don't have a numpad 1, you can fix this by going to Menu, Configuration, Controls, go to Scripting 1, and press any other key binding that you want. You can also use this more detailed page to mark units with colors just in case you have a lot of the same unit and you don't want to mix them up. If you're running 120 orc boys, it could be very easy to get the units mixed up, and so by just giving them a little highlight, you can very easily tell that these are the pink orc boys, these are the yellow ones, these are the blue ones, and those are the red ones. To roll the dice, you're going to make sure that you go over to the mat and you click clear mat to just get all of the pre-existing dice off. Then you can just go over to press the plus 1d6, plus 2d6, 5d6, whatever you need to get in the correct amount of dice that you need. I'm going to be using breaches as an example with 30 shots, assuming they're being led by a cadre. Once I have 30 dice, I'm going to go over, click roll dice, and I'm just going to go ahead and take all the ones and pull them out of the pile. I don't need them anymore. Then I can click roll again, and I can very easily get all of my wound rolls. Because breaches are able to reroll wounds, I'm going to pick the 1s and the 2s, and I'm going to reroll all of those to figure out what I got for those wounds. Then my opponent could very easily come over, click roll dice, and see what their saves were like. Get rid of all the 4s, 5s, and 6s as they pass those, and we can see just how many models my opponent lost. Okay, they took 13 wounds of damage from the attack. When you're getting ready to move your units around, you're going to be doing that by holding left click and dragging it around once you see the model pick up and rise off the table. Now, when you're moving them, you can hold down the tab key and it will show you exactly how far your unit is moving. This is great for being able to tell, hey, am I going too far? Do I have the movement to get here? Or anything like that. If you want to get it back to where it started when you picked it up the first time, just press escape. It'll teleport right back to where it was, so you don't have to worry about trying to get it just quite right enough, because you can get it exactly right. And if you want to make sure that your model isn't clipping through terrain or is properly getting stuck on the terrain pieces that might be there, make sure that things are going correctly, you can hold right click while moving it to make it go flat and interact with other models that are on the board. I'll be doing a giveaway for a free combat patrol at the end of this month. In the description, you'll find a link for a Facebook page where I'm going to be hosting the giveaway. All you have to do to enter on the day that it goes live is submit a picture with a model, an art piece, a drawing, whatever kind of creative thing that you can do with a name and date in the picture. Paid channel supporters don't need to worry about this at all. You will automatically be entered with extra entries based on your tier as a thank you for helping support the channel. Big shout out to all of my channel supporters who help make these videos possible, such as Comrade Chin, and everyone else who's been generous enough to support me. If you would like to try and help out the channel, please consider the links in the description where you can either check out the Amazon affiliate link or go support me on Ko-fi. Thank you all for watching.